Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
It is Country Day at Rogers Center, and Tim Hicks put on a great concert for about an hour during batting practice. It was quite a lead up to this ball game. This is the fourth and final game of this four-game series. The Buck Showalter Baltimore Orioles are here. The Orioles won the opener with a ninth-inning run on Thursday night, and then the Blue Jays have won Friday and Saturday 4-3 with a walk-off home run, 11-6 yesterday. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles and Manny Machado. This season against the Blue Jays, he's hitting .423, 11 for 26, and this is a real problem because you got Manny Machado and then Chris Davis, who's 5 for 7 against Aaron Sanchez with a couple of home runs, and Davis has homered in 4 straight games. And then you have Mark Trumbull right behind him, who leads the majors in home runs.
This should be a great matchup for Aaron Sanchez. Can't get any better than what he did last time out against the Detroit Tigers. 13th start of the season for Sanchez. He's been magnificent this year. He has held the opposition to 2 earned runs or less in 8 of his 12 starts. He's gone at least 6 innings in all but 1 of his outings. That was that start versus Oakland back here on April the 22nd when he only went 4 1/3 innings. That start against Detroit last time out, beautiful. Can't pitch any better. 12 strikeouts, that was a career high. Took a 1-hitter in the 9th inning, and unfortunately for him and the Blue Jays, they ended up losing that game, and Aaron got a no decision.
He had a career high 12 strikeouts and threw just 98 pitches. Here's the first pitch of the ball game to Adam Jones, and it's a swing and a miss, and a follow through. Jones hit Russell Martin's glove, and the ball popped out.
You know, I say this should be a fun matchup to watch all of these sluggers get a shot at Aaron Sanchez. Aaron, his fastball was moving all over the place. He had control of it. He had control of his curveball. It's probably his finest curveball that we have seen in his young career, and his changeup was very good in that start.
Ball and a strike to Adam Jones, the leadoff man. Jones is 2 for 14 in this series. Swings at that breaking ball and fouls it off. He has a walk. He scored a pair of runs, and Buck Showalter trying to get the Orioles going. Go there, Adam Jones. You can either hit leadoff or take a couple of days off to get your act together.
And if you know Adam Jones, he's not going to take anything off. This guy plays every inning of every game.
Breaking ball bounced in the dirt.
And he made the right decision. He went into that leadoff position, and he's been hitting ever since.
Well, Buck Showalter knew what the answer was going to be.
That was his way of challenging him, wasn't it? Those subtle ways of just kind of sticking it to him to see if he's going to respond.
2 balls and 2 strikes to leadoff man. Changeup at 90. That's a little too hard for that changeup.
Yeah, it depends on how his fastball's going. Aaron was telling me that he'd like to see about 8, 9 miles an hour less on his changeup that he has for his heater, and he's not really sure from day to day, start to start, how hard his fastball's going to be.
Good fastball there at 97. You see 97 with the fastball, 90 with the changeup. That's not quite enough separation.
Just a little bit more separation. I got a chance to talk to Russell Martin about that start from Aaron Sanchez, and Russell was saying that his changeup is a pitch that is really starting to come along. Everybody's talking about the curveball, yes, but his changeup, he's getting more comfortable with it with every start.
Little pop up, that's going to drop on the warning track. Sanchez got there. He was the only one that had a legitimate shot at it, but it's a foul ball.
Take your time heading back to the mound, because watch this effort, extra effort from Aaron Sanchez. He knows he's the only one who has a shot at it. Showing off some athleticism now. Take your time. That's why Russell Martin and Ryan Goins have gone to the mound to give him a little bit of a break.
Just a chance to catch his breath before he throws another pitch to Adam Jones. Aaron's taking a little more time just to get his heart rate down a bit. He walks Jones to start the ball game. Now, defensively, last time out, there were some fine defensive plays, as third base especially with that sinking fastball. In the outfield is Michael Saunders, Kevin Pillar, and Ezekiel Carrera. Darwin Barney gets the start at third. Josh Donaldson's at DH this afternoon. It's Goins and Travis up the middle. Edwin Encarnacion starts at first base. His 13th start over at first. And Russell Martin and Sanchez team up to make the battery.
First time Edwin has been over there at first base since June the 5th, when the Blue Jays were at Boston. Going to rotate some of those players through that designated hitter spot. I think it's always good for Edwin to play every now and then on the field. Get out on the field and view the game from a different angle instead of a DH.
This is Young-Soo Kim, the left fielder. Kim has one hit in this series, and it was a big hit, a leadoff double in the 9th on Friday in a tie game. He was lifted for the pinch runner, and that pinch runner came in to score the winning run.
What was he saying about breaking balls over here in the States?
Breaking ball lifted into center. Pillar is there and makes the catch. Kim said they throw more fastballs here than they do in Korea. And they're much better, like Sanchez's fastball. They're hard and tough to catch up to.
Yeah, wait till he sees his breaking ball too. Pretty good.
So one down now, and here is Manny Machado. And Machado, he always is tough on the Blue Jays. We mentioned this season batting .423. He's 11 for 26 with 7 extra base hits. Machado in this series 5 for 14. He's walked, has a pair of doubles and a home run. This is a tough lineup. They really have a good combination of average hitters like Machado hitting .306, then power. Davis with 15, Trumbo with 20 home runs. Trumbo's hitting .292 behind Chris Davis, and Davis, we all know what he does against the Blue Jays, so this is a tough stretch.
You know what they have also is they've got balance. They're not really right-handed top heavy or left-handed top heavy. They got balance up and down their lineup. And we've talked about it for 3 days now. They've got great power. So you got to be careful. Every pitch becomes an important pitch.
These two teams in the 3 games prior to this one this afternoon have combined to hit 12 home runs. Popped up. You got to stay with that. The wind is blowing, and it's going to be back out of play.
Well, they gave him the green light on the 3-0 count because he's in a nice little hot streak. And here's another one yesterday. This is off the J hat, number 16 on the season for Manny Machado, and no doubt about it, to left field. He's been doing that to everybody. We also saw him take a pitch that was away from him and hit it up the alley in right center field. This guy is just a good hitter.
Machado was 3 for 5 in the game yesterday. 3-1 pitch on the corner. Now it's a full count. So Sanchez had a full count to Adam Jones to start the inning. Now he's got a full count to Manny Machado. As you see, Chris Davis on deck. Blue Jays would like to leave him right on deck. There goes Jones. Strike 3 called. No throw to second. Manny Machado called out by the home plate umpire, and he's going to chat about that last couple of pitches.
You know, one of the pitch that was working so well for Sanchez in a last start where he picked up 12 strikeouts was the comeback fastball, the 2-seamer, and he can do it to the righties, so you can't give up on it. Look at the movement and the depth on that pitch to hit the outside corner. Russell Martin holding it just there for just a little bit longer, ignoring that runner Jones.
Jones picks up his first stolen base of the season. Boy, that's exactly where you got to put Chris Davis. You can tell him, I'm going to pitch you right here all day long, and he's going to have a tough time hitting it. And if he does hit it, I don't think he can keep it fair.
Yeah, he'll pull it foul. So that's where you don't want this guy to extend and get the bat head out and get those arms extended out over the plate. I think you have to stay up and you have to stay in against this guy.
Pretty good curveball, just missed downstairs. It's a ball on the strike. Chris Davis has homered in 4 straight games, including all 3 in this series. He had a home run on Wednesday against Kansas City. It's the 4th time in Davis's career he's had a streak of 4 games with a homer. His longest is 6 straight. And he loves hitting in this ballpark.
Boy, does he ever love hitting here. 43 career games. He's got 16 home runs.
Boy, that's a wicked curveball. We mentioned that Davis hit a home run off Aaron Sanchez in Aaron's first big league start in Baltimore last year. But he didn't have the curveball like he has it now.
No, not at all. And he couldn't develop it last year once they moved him into the bullpen. But now as a starter, as he gets into his 13th start, it's there.
Sanchez strikes out Davis. Jones is stranded in scoring position. 2 strikeouts for Sanchez to start the ball game. Out of the first as Sanchez put up a 0 in the top half of the inning. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons' Blue Jays. No Jose Bautista. So Ezekiel Carrera stays in the leadoff spot. Josh Donaldson is the DH this afternoon. And then in the cleanup spot, it's Michael Saunders. He's had good numbers against the Orioles starting pitcher Ubaldo Jimenez. He's 5 for 11 with a home run and 2 RBIs. And then Kevin Pillar, he's riding a 5-game hit streak, hitting an even 509 for 18 with a triple, a home run, and 3 RBIs, and they go up against the big right-hander Ubaldo Jimenez.
3-6 this season, 621 earned run average. He won game number 1 on April 7th, his second on May 7th, and his third on June 7th of this season. Very high earned run average. Couldn't touch this guy last year, the Blue Jays. He was outstanding against them last year, 3-1 with a 255 earned run average. He's faced him 1 time this year, and he's had a no decision, 5 innings, 5 hits, and 2 earned runs. We're going to have to see which Ubaldo Jimenez shows up today, because he can be great or he could be out of here in 5 innings.
Yeah, he certainly has to throw the fastball for a strike so that splitter becomes more effective. Carrera has done a nice job filling in for Bautista. Last 17 games, he has 10 hits in 30 at-bats. That ball is driven deep to left field. Kim's not going to get this one. This ball is at the base of the wall. Carrera's going to stop at second with a leadoff double. Well, we told you he's doing a good job filling in.
Picking up a hit here, making a play defensively there, getting a rally started here in the first inning. He got himself into a fastball count, and Jimenez's fastball is very inconsistent. He could paint it one day and he can hang it the next, and this time he hangs it and Carrera stays right with it. Doubling off the wall in left field. Good start for the Blue Jays.
Terrific start for the Blue Jays. Carrera, with his 4th double of the season, has set the table for Josh Donaldson. Donaldson homered against Jimenez in that start back in April. 14 homers on the season for JD.
You know, you can see why Jimenez can be so scattered with that pitch. He's got that really funny arm swing where he locks the ball behind him, hooks it, locks it, and he's got that long arm swing. And it just makes for a very inconsistent release point. Sometimes he releases it on the side, sometimes he releases it perfectly out front. It's all about the arm catching up with the body so he can repeat his delivery.
And Donaldson almost walked into that pitch.
This guy's got to be very tough for right-handers because you just don't know where the ball's going to go. That time up over Josh Donaldson.
So Josh will try to regroup now. He's got the count in his favor against Jimenez. 2 balls and a strike. You know what? You and I have both experienced it, but I'll tell you what, when you have a ball thrown over your head or up around your head, that at bat is a real challenge. I don't care how tough you are or how brave you are, but hanging in there is really tough.
You just have to have confidence that that pitcher's going to come back and throw it in the strike zone.
That's a drive down the right side and a fair ball. Carrera's in to score. Bounces out of play for a ground rule double, and the Blue Jays have scored in the first.
They are making a habit of that, scoring in the first inning. Josh Donaldson staying back on that breaking ball just a little bit longer, and inside out swing. He's thinking about moving that runner, and he does one better. Moves him all the way to home plate. It's a breaking ball, curve ball. Donaldson stays back. You can see a little bit of a bat lag there to get that ball to right field, and he places it right down the line for extra bases.
The Blue Jays have now scored 15 times in the first inning this season. Only the Red Sox have scored more times in the first. Well, here's the man, Edwin Encarnacion. He had 2 home runs in yesterday's game. Let me give you his last 6 plate appearances. Walk-off home run, base on balls, RBI double, base on balls, 3-run homer, solo homer. That's a pretty good stretch.
They've been waiting for Edwin to heat up.
Ground ball up the middle. Donaldson's being waved home. Another RBI for Encarnacion. He's creeping up on Big Papi. Edwin's 54th RBI. He's second to David Ortiz.
Well, you can add RBI single now to that list that you just talked about. 7 at-bats in a row that he has reached base. There it is. Last 7 plate appearances.
That's hot. And he only walks because they don't pitch to him. And when he has guys on base, he comes up big. 2-0. Michael Saunders against Jimenez is 5 for 11 with a home run. Saunders and Encarnacion went back-to-back in the 8th inning yesterday against Brian Dunsing. And for Saunders, it was an opposite field home run, his 6th home run against left-handed pitching. He's in a pretty good groove right now.
He's in a good place. Everything that he is swinging at is finding a hole right now. We talked about it after the game yesterday. His first at bat, if you remember that, he sent a ball to right center field that Adam Jones made an unbelievable play on, robbed him of extra bases. That could have been a triple. If it was, he would have hit for a cycle yesterday. He also had that infield hit, a double, and the home run you were just talking about.
There is numbers for the season against the Orioles. 3-1 now. Blue Jays have had back-to-back doubles to start the game and an RBI single. Nobody out. Strike 2. Russell Martin batting in the 5th spot this afternoon. Buck Showalter concerned about the shaky start to this game, I'm sure. 3-2 pitch, cut on and miss. Saunders strikes out. 1 down for the Orioles here in the bottom of the 1st. Let's take a look at the defense behind him. In the outfield, it's Hyun-Soo Kim. In left field, Adam Jones and Mark Trumbo. Center and right. Brian Flaherty's back at third base. Machado would scope up the middle. Chris Davis at first, and Matt Wieters back behind the plate.
You want an underrated player in the American League? How about the second baseman for the Baltimore Orioles? Jonathan Scope has played every inning for the Orioles this season at second base.
Russell Martin goes after the first pitch. That's going to drop for a base hit. Jones keeps Encarnacion at second, saying, I was watching you.
He was thinking, Edwin Encarnacion, he was thinking about possibly going first to third on that bloop single. He's played at this ballpark enough. He knew that Jones was not going to catch it. And once he threw up his glove like Adam was trying to decoy Encarnacion, thinking that he was going to catch it, Edwin was going to go first to third, but the ball didn't bounce high enough.
So Russell Martin has a hit in his first at bat. This is Kevin Pillar. We mentioned Pillar with the 5-game hit streak. Manis falls behind to another Blue Jay hitter. It's 2-0. That's going to bring the pitching coach Dave Wallace out.
When he pitched those great games against the Blue Jays last year, like we talked about, they couldn't touch him last year. It was fastball on the black to the right-handers away, comeback fastball on the black, slider on the black. He was able to control all of his pitches, and he kept everything away from the Jays. Today, he hasn't been able to throw the ball where he wants to, and he's got the highest earned run averages in the American League.
Yeah, if you can't locate your pitches, you're going to give up a lot of hits, and that's been the case for Jimenez, Buchholz, and Pineda. All with ERAs over 6.
All of them with great stuff.
Great stuff. Can't command their fastball.
That's the pitch right there that he ate up the Blue Jays with last season.
That swing back fastball that starts off the plate and moves back over the outside corner. 2-1. Pillar takes it now. It's 3-1. The Blue Jays lost the opener on a 9th inning run. They lost 6-5 and have won the next 2. Pillar hits it high and deep to center. Jones is not going to get it. It's up the base of the wall. Encarnacion's being waved home. Russell Martin's being stopped as Pillar stretches his hit streak to 6 in a row.
Gets himself into a 3-1 count, gets his fastball, and smokes that ball over the head of Adam Jones. The runner, Edwin Encarnacion, had to make sure that that ball was not going to get caught. Watch him at second base, but Russell reads it double all the way, and they're right up each other. Right up each other's back, so Louis Rivera's got to send Encarnacion. He's got to hold Russell Martin at third base.
Jones was playing shallow, and Pillar knocks it over his head. Encarnacion gets the go sign. Martin gets the stop sign. Third double of the inning for the Blue Jays. Devin Travis waves at that breaking ball. It's a ball and a strike. Rights off that inside pitch. Vance Worley starting to loosen up for the Orioles. And he is a long man. He's a guy that can give you multiple innings out of their pen. And Buck Showalter was keeping Worley in reserve with thoughts of this start.
Yeah, he says his bullpen is really overtaxed right now. We haven't seen Worley for these 3 days. I think he had an inkling something like this might happen to his team here on Sunday.
2-2 to Devin Travis. He fouls it up. Well, what a great start for the Blue Jays. 3 runs on 5 hits, still just 1 out. Yesterday, the Blue Jays scored 11 runs on 13 hits. And when they get double-digit hits, they are now starting to rack up the wins. Line drive to right. That's a fair ball. Martin's in to score, and right behind him, here comes Pilar. That's the 4th double of the inning.
Devin Travis didn't play the other day, and we had a shot of him talking to Jose Bautista. And ever since then, his at-bats have looked like Devin Travis from last year, taking the ball the other way. That was textbook Devin Travis hitting with 2 strikes to right field.
Well, Buck Showalter will take the ball from Jimenez. He gets just 1 out. Vance Worley will come in to face Ryan Goins. The Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead.
Jose Bautista has been resting a sore quad, but that hasn't stopped him from contributing. You see, for 5 innings yesterday, he was seen counseling Devin Travis on the bench about the mental side of the game. Bautista told him that it's not always about the individual numbers, but how you can help the team's overall success. They broke down a number of scenarios in which Travis asked Bautista what he should be looking for with a man on third and less than 2 outs. Ironically, Travis found himself in that exact situation in the bottom of the 6th yesterday and contributed with a sac fly RBI. Travis told me the message was prepare hard before the game, step into the box, but then shut your brain off because according to Bautista, thinking just complicates things. I asked Devin Travis how that experience was, Buck, and he told me, quote unquote, it was just so sick. Which I'm guessing is a good thing.
Well, that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. Absolutely. And Bautista, he does a lot of things behind the scenes that people aren't aware of. This is Vance Worley making his 17th appearance.
The long man out of the bullpen for the Baltimore Orioles. He has been a starter most of his career. Not overpowering, sinker, slider, curveball type of guy. They need some innings today with Jimenez going just 1/3 of an inning.
Worley threw 6 innings back on the 15th of April at Texas. So he has been stretched out. Ryan Goins with a ball and a strike. The Blue Jays, and this is another thing that's really interesting about this start, they had voluntary batting practice. Only a couple guys hit. Carrera hit, Pilar hit, I think Russell Martin hit, but not many guys hit on the field.
Travis was out here taking some ground balls. I think he hit. I thought I saw him taking some swings, but you're right, there was only a handful of guys hitting.
Goins is called out on strikes, 2 strikeouts in the inning. Just the second out. Sanchez had a long break on the Blue Jays bench. Baltimore Jimenez records just 1 out. The runner at second is his responsibility. He's already been charged with 5 earned runs. Darwin Barney batting ninth, a bat around first inning for the Blue Jays. Big cut from Barney.
You know, this is your main competition right now in the American League East. You want to keep scoring runs and keep putting runs on that bullpen, and maybe you can get a couple more guys out there into the game. From here, Baltimore goes to New York to play the Yankees.
Well, this is the part of the schedule we were talking about, that once you get past the next stretch with the Orioles down in Baltimore, then you're out of the East for quite a while.
And I think just putting some more pressure on these guys and making them use more pitchers when their starter can only go a third of an inning can help you down the road.
Well, Vance Worley comes in and puts out the fire. He strikes out the 2 men to end the first inning. But what a first inning start for the Blue Jays. Aaron Sanchez has a 5-0 lead. Ezekiel Carrera got it started with a double. Josh Donaldson doubles right behind him, and for good measure, Edwin Encarnacion an RBI single.
Chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD. And fans, a reminder, if you're flying to catch a ball game, why not book a WestJet Plus fare? It's more than a seat, it's a premium experience for a smart price. And buck behind the WestJet flight deck today, it is Country Day. So many festivities and activities to take part of. What a great day.
It was a very great day, and the pregame celebration was pretty interesting. Tim Hicks, a country singer, was out in center field. There were a lot of interactive activities for the folks here at Rogers Center.
Had the cardboard cutouts of the Blue Jay players in their country gear that you could take pictures with.
There was line dancing, just a lot of things going on. Well, this is Mark Trumbo. Leads off the second. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Aaron Sanchez walked Jones to start the game, but after a stolen base, Jones was stranded at second. Manny Machado and Chris Davis both struck out.
Aaron's mindset as he takes the second inning should be 0-0. Don't even look at the scoreboard right now.
Sanchez was going to get out of the way for Martin. Miscommunication. He was peeling off, anticipating Russell was going to make that play. Then he saw Russell wasn't going to be able to make the play. And now they have called
Alan
Trumbo
Porter
out.
Yeah, Alan Porter came out and has signaled out that Trumbo got into the baseline, and that's going to bring Buck Showalter and Wayne Kirby, the first base coach, into a discussion here.
So you can bet both teams are going to look at their video replay of that trip up first baseline. Sanchez's throw hit Trumbo, and now the question is, where was Trumbo when the ball hit him? He's well inside that base path, that 45-foot line. He wasn't even close. This call should stand up on the field. Sanchez hits Trumbo before he got to first.
I think if the throw would interfere, that was a wild throw. I mean, that was a throw that was into the baseline. If he would interfere, if the throw would interfere, look at this. Look at that. That's nowhere near the base. So that's tough to be called out.
But you just play it by the rule book. Where was the base runner when he was hit by the pitch? And he's going to be out. And Buck Showalter, I'm sure he's saying what you're saying. Hey, that throw wasn't close and it hit him. Well, Alan Porter's job is just to interpret the rules, not to interpret where the throw was.
I think Buck Showalter, he wants an explanation right here. Say, you know, so if an infielder on a ball out in front of the plate like that, if he just throws it and hits the runner and he feels like he is inside the baseline, okay.
Well, you've got to run inside that path, which is a flawed rule to begin with.
Yeah.
Because if you run inside that box, you'll never touch first base. So Matt Wieters with one out. Wieters did not play in the game yesterday afternoon as he got the day off. Sanchez gets ahead 0-2. Wieters 0 for 7 in this series and a fielder's choice RBI.
Wow.
Look at the movement on that pitch. That started off the plate inside and ran all the way over to the inner half.
In Aaron's last start, the one that we keep referring to against Detroit, 80% of the times he threw fastball against a very good hitting team. That's how dominant his fastball can be. That one looked like it was going to ride up and in to Matt Wieters, and watch the movement as it comes back. That is right down the middle of the plate. Easy call for the home plate umpire.
Well, there's another great moving fastball at 97. I spoke specifically to Russell about the quality of the Sanchez pitches. He said, I've never caught a guy that has a fastball like Aaron Sanchez.
He can make it go inside to the lefties. He can tie up righties with it. The changeup's just not there. That was another changeup a little bit too hard. He's going to go right back to it.
Still 90 miles an hour. Mark Trumbo was out 1-3. He was called out for batter's interference, interfering with the pitcher's ability to make the throw to first. 3-1 now to Alvarez. He's the DH this afternoon. Jonathan Scope will bat if Alvarez can keep the inning alive. Can't get around on that fastball. 3-2.
Normally Aaron's about 74-75% fastballs, but against Detroit he jumped that up to 80%. And he says it himself. He says, if it's working, I'm not going to be changing. His fastball was working that day.
Sanchez does a good job of reading the hitter's bats. He understands right now he's beating Alvarez with that fastball. By beating a hitter, we mean that he has kept the hitter from extending out in front of the plate with that bat. He's making contact back over the plate. 3-2.
There's another one right there. He got beat with that one. I'll tell you what, if he had confidence in that breaking ball and he threw it right now, he'd have another strikeout. Just lay back and throw a curveball, because that's all Alvarez has seen the last couple of pitches were fastballs. He's a free swinger too.
That ball was away, and he singles into left. 2-out single. Aaron Sanchez has really hit stride here. Look at his last 4 starts, how dominant he has been. Phone is hitting just over 200. His whip is under 1, and he's averaging almost 10 strikeouts per 9 innings.
And he's kept the ball in the ballpark. No home runs allowed. Tough to get that ball up in the air with as much movement as he gets on his fastball and his curveball.
Scope, first ball hitting, hits a base hit to right field. So back-to-back 2-out hits by the Orioles.
Soft single to left field. First of all by Alvarez. It looked like it might have been a changeup. 3-2. Only registered 90 miles an hour. And then Scope squirts one through the right side. Now out to the mound is Russell Martin.
Number 9 hitter is Ryan Flaherty, who's back at third base this afternoon. Paul Janisch played third base yesterday with Jay Happ making the start. Flaherty 0 for 2 against Sanchez. Was after that first pitch. There's the curveball, no swing, according to John Tumpane, the third base umpire. With Aaron throwing 97 with the fastball, the Oriole hitters have to think about being quick with that bat, trying to get the head out.
Started early. Start that swing just a little bit early, because that fastball is going to be on you quick. And if he's throwing that first strike with his curveball, he should have high strikeout games.
It's interesting how that ball is moving today. It's moving along the plane of the bat. Against the Tigers, it had more downward movement, but boy, it's dramatic movement.
Ideally, you would like that to get off of the hitting plane. And when you can do it, make the ball go to your right arm side and then to your left. Foul tip. Then you have all those big strikeout games. Last time out, everything was working for him. And remember, the Tigers, they scored 11 runs in one of those games. I mean, they're a good hitting team.
In that start on Tuesday, as you mentioned, he had 12 strikeouts going into the 9th inning. He pitched to 2 batters in the 9th. Stayed under 100 pitches. Curveball, Flaherty lays off. The most interesting fact of that last start against the Tigers was that he struck out Victor Martinez 3 times in the game. The first time Martinez had ever struck out 3 times against one pitcher in the same game.
Amazing. I mean, amazing. And the guys were talking about that the next day. You just don't do that to Victor Martinez. That's how dominant he was.
Flaherty's having a good at bat. He's laid off some borderline pitches. That's Adam Jones, the leadoff man, on deck. Full count, 2 outs. Alvarez will be off from second. Scope off from first on the pitch. Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead. Base hit into center. Alvarez is coming in to score. Pilar's throw to third, not in time. What an at bat by Ryan Flaherty. Picks up his 8th RBI, and the Orioles are on the board.
You know, all of this with 2 outs and nobody on. Alvarez had a really good at bat. Ran it to 3-2, got a base hit. Scope hit the first pitch for his base hit. And now Flaherty, 3-2, battling, just serves this ball over Ryan Goins at shortstop. And the Orioles are on the board.
Bottom third of the order, breakthrough for the Orioles. Scope at third base now. Flaherty at first for Adam Jones. He walked his first time up and stole second. Jones goes after the first pitch and pops it in the air to right. Carrera is there, and Jones really hit Russell Martin with the backswing once again. Orioles are on the board, but the Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the second.
Tickets are now available for the 2016 Junior Jays Club presented by Boston Pizza. This year's membership kit features a Blue Jays ball cap, sunglasses, backpack, and more. Exclusive access to members-only events such as a movie night and photo day with Blue Jays players. Purchase your membership kit at any Jay Shop location or by visiting jshop.ca. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And this is the leadoff man who got that 5-run inning started. Ezekiel Carrera had a leadoff double, and he scored on the Donaldson double. This is Vance Worley, who came in with just 1 out in the first to strike out Ryan Goins and Darwin Barney to end the first inning.
He's got a monumental task this afternoon. He's got to eat up innings for the Orioles. Problems that they have had in their bullpen. They've got a very good bullpen. It's very deep.
Carrera puts a charge in it, and that's going to end up off the third deck facing. Carrera's an interesting player. He keeps himself ready to play, oftentimes not really knowing when he's going to play. And that's a challenge for extra guys, to keep yourself sharp. You really have to be self-motivated. You got to come out, and in Carrera's case, you got to take fly balls in all 3 outfield positions. Bautista's still on the shelf for that hip flexor injury. And you have to work at your game as if you were playing a game.
You got to treat every day like you're playing. When you come to the ballpark and you don't see your name in the lineup, but then you have to go out there and you got to practice hard.
Right back to the mound. 1 down.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Rogers 4K TV. Get closer to the action with 4 times the resolution of HD alone.
Josh Donaldson has the DH this afternoon. Donaldson had a heck of a bat against Jimenez. Ubaldo threw a ball over his head, and later on in that same at bat, Donaldson hit a breaking ball down into the right field corner for an RBI double.
That bullpen's going to show up today, isn't it, for Baltimore? We were talking about that the first day here on Thursday, how deep their bullpen is and how good they are. It'll show today. I asked Dom Cheedy, who is the bullpen coach for the Baltimore Orioles, so why are you guys so good? What's the deal? He says, you know, the first thing, our manager knows how to handle every one of our pitchers down in that bullpen. He doesn't burn them out, and you were right on with Worley. That's why we haven't seen him at all in this series. He knew and had an idea that he was going to have to use him for multiple innings today. He also says the trainers do a wonderful job with all the pitchers. They keep them in shape, and then the guys who work them out do a great job.
Nasty breaking ball from Worley. That's his third strikeout since coming into the ball game. Edwin Encarnacion had an RBI single his first time up, and when you look at his home run chart, these are home runs by pitch type and location this season. Boy, when he gets his pitch, he really misses it.
That's what he was saying the other day. He says, I've been seeing a lot of pitches outside, but when I get my pitch, and all those red dots showed you where his pitch is. It's right in the middle, and it's middle in. He doesn't miss it, and he puts on a show. So by that standard right there, you got to go up and away, or up and in.
Ball on a strike to Encarnacion, batting with 2 outs in the second. He's on fire. Encarnacion turning first, looking for a double, and that ball stayed and died off the wall. So Edwin, that string just continues for Encarnacion. That's the 5th double the Blue Jays have hit already this afternoon. Their season high is 6 earlier in the season against the Yankees.
He's getting his pitches to hit now. Look at it. There it is right there. Middle in. Exactly like those red dots we were showing you on the home runs that he is connected with. And when he gets it, he hits it hard. He knows he's going to have to hustle out of the box to get to second base because he hit it so hard and they were playing deep. But the left fielder, Kim, had some problems with that ball.
Michael Saunders, he struck out against Jimenez in the first, and actually Blue Jays had 3 strikeouts in the first inning. Orioles struck out the side, but they have 5 runs on 6 hits. There goes Encarnacion to third base, and he's going to slide in safely. Now he'll get up, and he's going to score. Boy, they took advantage of the shift right there, and Edwin, playing heads-up baseball, got a big smile. He steals third and scores on the air by Wieters.
You're going to shift on the Blue Jays or anybody. You got to take advantage of it. There's holes all over the infield, and for Matt Wieters, he's got to hit a moving target. That would have been Manny Machado trying to cover up third base, so Encarnacion says, I'm not going to sit out here. I'm going to keep the pressure on this team.
They are not fanning Encarnacion because he's tired. They're fanning him because he's red hot. His first stolen base of the season, his first stolen base attempt, and he scores on the air by Wieters. Saunders hits this one into right. That's going to drop for a base hit.
You know, I saw Xander Bogaerts do something like this against the Shift yesterday against Minnesota. Well, Edwin's going to take advantage of it one more time. He takes off, and watch Wieters. He's got to hit a moving target. That is tough to do with a baseball. It's offline. Edwin gets a stolen base and a run scored after the error. Tough to hit Machado while he is going over to third base, and he's got to catch it and find the runner.
Russell Martin takes a first pitch ball. Russell had a single his first time up.
Edwin's always been a very good base runner. Into the game, understands the game, knows his limitations.
We talk about this hot streak for Encarnacion. These are his last 8 plate appearances. Walk-off home run, walk, double, walk, home run, single, double. Where's the triple, Edwin? Next time. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-2 to Martin. Blue Jays have 6 runs on 8 hits, and we're in the 2nd inning. Remember, the Orioles came in with a 5-game win streak. Blue Jays snapped that on Friday night. This is popped into right. Trumbo is there. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays score a run. Edwin Encarnacion steals a base and scores on the air. 6-1 Blue Jays. Ahead brought to you by WestJet. Well, Blue Jays will wrap up this 4-game series against the Orioles here today, and then the Phillies are in town. It's a home-and-home 4-game series, 2 here at Rogers Center, including the afternoon game on the 14th, then 2 night games in Philly, and then the Blue Jays and Orioles will hook up again at Camden Yards. An off day for the Blue Jays on Monday, and then Arizona is here for a quick 2-game series, an off day on Thursday, and then the Blue Jays go to Chicago, take on the White Sox for the first time.
Some payback to the White Sox too. Didn't they play us tough here? Chris Sale, Quintana. Sure, we'll see them in that series.
Aaron Sanchez has a 6-1 lead. Hyun-Soo Kim, the left fielder, he flied out to center his first time up. I spoke to Kim through his interpreter during batting practice today, and I asked him about pitches here in the major leagues. He said fastball is much better, and they throw more fastballs. He said in Korea we get a lot of breaking balls, a lot of splits, and a lot of changeup, but it's power baseball here. And I asked him about the adjustment, and he held up his hands about 3 feet apart and said the fastball's about this much quicker. And he's made an adjustment now.
Yeah, a lot of times you see guys that come over here. The only one who didn't have to make an adjustment was Ichiro Suzuki. He came over here and just started hitting, period, end of story. And you get that a lot. Fastballs over here, they're the best in the world. Right now, Aaron is having trouble throwing the fastball for a strike. He needs some quick innings. He had labored a little bit through the first 2 innings this afternoon.
And he loses Kim. That's the leadoff walk here in the third. You see, Encarnacion's got dirt all over his jersey as he had a headfirst slide into third, and that was a rough landing for a double E. His first stolen base of the season, and he gets to his feet and scores.
Did you see his right hand? His right hand hit the foot of Manny Machado and turned inward on that. He's got hit on that hand the other day.
Aaron Sanchez walked the first batter he faced, then he got the next three out with a couple of strikeouts. Then the Blue Jays had a long inning. They scored 5 runs on 6 hits. 9 men went to the plate. Dane Johnson, who is the bullpen coach, out to chat with Sanchez. We're not sure the status of Pete Walker, if he's here or not, and Pete was here yesterday.
Yeah, and right now he has thrown 53 pitches. We're only in the third inning. He's having trouble getting that fastball over right now.
The bottom of the first inning took 19 minutes, and Aaron was sitting on the bench after a quick first inning, and it's been a struggle for him ever since. He sat a long time and may have cooled off a bit. Now he's trying to get back into the rhythm he had in the first. Manny Machado with a 2-0 count. This should be 2. Goins, Travis, Encarnacion, a double play. Well, Dane Johnson's going to have to write that meeting down, make some notes, whatever you said. It worked.
He's always got that in his arsenal, I think, because his fastball moves so much. He and Marcus Stroman are right up at the top in ground ball percentage. So you walk a guy, you can get that ball top to the shortstop, let the middle infielders take care of the rest. 2 for 1. 2 outs for 1 pitch.
Chris Davis struck out on a wicked curveball to end the first inning. And he gets one to start this at bat. Interesting how Sanchez started the at bat in the first. He threw him a high fastball up and in a perfect spot. It was a ball, but he's coming right back to it. That looks like a strike.
That's why you see Russell Martin shaking his head saying, yeah, stay right there. That's not a bad pitch.
That curveball got away from him. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Changed up on him, and look at the miles per hour at 88. That's what you want to do right now. He was overthrowing it in the first inning.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Martin will throw to first to complete the strikeout. 4 strikeouts for Sanchez, including Chris Davis twice.
Fans every Sunday at Rogers Center, the Blue Jays salute the Canadian Armed Forces, and today they salute Sergeant James Matthew Brush. He's a 16-year veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces who serves as an armored crewman with the Royal Canadian Dragoons based out of CFB Petawawa. Sergeant James Matthew Brush, today's Sunday salute.
Congratulations to Sergeant Brush as Marco Estrada does the honors of presenting him with that personalized Blue Jays jersey. Kevin Pillar hit one of 4 doubles in the first inning for the Blue Jays. He had an RBI double. His double went over the head of Adam Jones in straightaway center. He hit it to the base of the wall in center. It's the 12th time the Blue Jays have hit 4 or more doubles in an inning in franchise history. This ball is drilled to left field, high and deep, and goodbye, home run.
I love the approach that Kevin Pillar has had the last week or so. Talking to him around the batting cage, he was saying, you know what, I'm just going to go up there, I'm just going to look for the ball, and I'm going to take a good swing on it. I'm not going to think about where my hands are, where my feet are, if I'm inside the ball, outside the ball. I'm just going to see it and let it go. And his average is starting to climb.
Pillar's up to 260 now. 2 hits this afternoon. He's extended his hit streak to 6 straight games, and this was a beautiful swing.
It bombed, slider, inside part of the plate, down the line. It looked like it went up into the 3rd deck here.
Nice play by Flaherty at third. Strong throw. Devin Travis is retired.
When you're at the plate and you're not thinking about anything except swinging and hitting the baseball, your natural talent just takes over, and Pillar's natural talent takes over here, hammers that into the 3rd deck. That is a long way down that left field line, just under the Carlos Delgado sign. Pillar's 4th home run of the season.
During his hit streak, he's 11 for 20 with 2 home runs. He's also had a triple during those 6 games. Brian Goins struck out. That was the first batter Worley faced in the first inning. Seven runs on 9 hits.
Yeah, you hit a ball like that, you can relax just a little bit. What a great feeling that is.
Goins strikes out for a 2nd time, caught looking both times.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon in Toronto. Roof was open. A coolish kind of afternoon. Started out at 18 degrees. Yesterday was kind of muggy and hot at the end of the game. Different story today. Darwin Barney struck out to end the first. He was the 9th Blue Jay that went to the plate in the first inning. Jose Bautista not in the lineup again. And Bautista, Smoke, and Pillar talking about where he hit that ball. That's a high fly ball to the left. Kim came in. Now he's retreating deep and just in front of the fence. Barney just missed a home run. But the Blue Jays have scored in all 3 innings. Kevin Pillar doing the honors with a home run. Now it's time for the Ultimate Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the ultimate hard-hitting and tough-on-grime cleaning products.
fans, enter the Bacardi Blue Jays for a Day contest for a chance to win a great Blue Jays on-field experience. For details, entry form, and rules, just head on over to bluejays.com/Bacardi contest. Now, the contest closes Thursday, June 30th at 4:59 p.m. Buck.
Thank you very much. You can see all the fans with their country hat on. That was given away as part of the Country Day activities. Mark Trumbo goes after the first pitch and he grounds out to third. Darwin Barney playing third this afternoon.
That's what you want to see from Aaron Sanchez. A lot of first pitch strikes, so he can go a little bit deeper into this ball game. He got about 100 pitches. He's at 60 already.
Blue Jays bullpen in pretty good shape for today. Gavin Floyd picked up Joe Biagini as Biagini had a tough outing. Didn't retire a batter. Was charged with 2 earned runs on 3 hits through 12 pitches.
Well, whatever Dane Johnson said to Aaron Sanchez, it's worked.
After the walk to Kim to start the top of the third, he went out and had a chat. And then Sanchez got the double play off the bat of Manny Machado and struck out Chris Davis. And now he's retired Trumbo to start the 4th inning. So Pete Walker must be away from the ball club as Dane Johnson's come from the bullpen to the bench. Matt Wieters was called out on strikes his first time up. One of 4 strikeouts that Sanchez has recorded.
He got him with that inside fastball. Wieters gave up on it. Overthrew that one right there. Like they were trying to do the same thing. That little comeback 2-seam fastball, and he overthrew it.
Popped up over near the seats. Barney into foul territory. Gets there and makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the 4th as Sanchez is retired 4 straight.
Boy, Darwin Barney, he's got a chance to play every day, and he's really impressing me day after day after day. Not just with his bat. His bat's been great. How about his glove?
Louis Rivera was talking about Barney earlier today, saying that Barney really prefers to play shortstop. That's his natural position, but he won a Gold Glove at second for the Chicago Cubs. But he's been impressive. He's one of those guys that you say, well, he's not that quick and he's not that fast, but he gets to everything. And once he gets it, he puts it in his glove. You're out. He's got a strong arm.
And his arm's a little bit better than people thought.
You know, in that regard, he reminds me a little bit of J.J. Hardy.
Solid every day.
It's a high fly ball to deep center field. This ball is up into the WestJet flight deck for Pedro Alvarez. His 2nd home run of the series, his 7th of the season. This is where trouble started for Sanchez in the 2nd.
Yeah, 3 straight hits. But I don't have a problem with this. Your pitch count is elevated for just the 4th inning against a very good hitting team. You've got a 6-run lead. I think you have to pound the strike zone. You got to force them to hit their way on. Alvarez has just massive strength. Just overpowers this fastball right down where he likes it. Takes it out of here.
Scope hits it hard off the glove of Goins. That took a wicked hop and hit him on the wrist. So Scope is 2 for 2.
Have to check, make sure Ryan is okay. That ball was blistered to him. I don't think he got leather on it. Not the way he's acting.
Now it hit him on the wrist. It was a short hop right to his glove side and tried to get his glove on it, but I think it caught him on the hand.
The ball got out to him so quickly. Tried to stay in front of it. Yeah, it got him right on the wrist area or the forearm area.
Ryan Flaherty, he had an RBI single. Now the Orioles, they have 5 hits. bottom third has all 5 hits. Alvarez, Scope, and Flaherty. Alvarez 2 hits today, and he had a home run earlier in the series. He's 4 for 7 in the series with a pair of home runs. Sanchez strikes out Flaherty. That's his 5th strikeout, but the Orioles get one back. Pedro Alvarez, his 7th homer.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
It is Country Day in Rogers Center, and you can see all the activities that took place up behind the WestJet flight deck. Lots going on. Tim Hicks, a country singer, put on a terrific concert all throughout batting practice, about an hour long. Ezekiel Carrera, he has doubled and grounded out. Ubaldo Jimenez, the 32-year-old right-hander, had his shortest outing of his career, a third of an inning. Previously, his shortest outing was 1 inning at San Diego, but today he just didn't have much, and the Blue Jays jumped on him. Kim in left field makes a running catch. Carrera having good at bats.
Hit that ball hard.
The Blue Jays have played very well over their last 9 games here at Rogers Center, and Pat, that reflects back-to-back series against the Red Sox and the Yankees as well.
Yeah, look at who they've played in those games. Red Sox, Yankees, and now Orioles, and they're pitching better. They're scoring more runs. That's 6 runs a game, and they're hitting home runs. Playing just a little bit better, and you have to play well in your division. You have to, if you have any thoughts at winning. Blue Jays seem to be rounding into form at the right time.
The Blue Jays so far against their division 21-17. They've played 38 games against the East, many more than everybody else in the division. So the Blue Jays are going to move out of the division, and then the rest of their AL East opponents will catch up. 1-1 to Donaldson. Ground ball. 2 down. Well, look at the last 8 plate appearances for Edwin Encarnacion. They haven't gotten him out. And that first home run, that was a walk-off home run on Friday night. That snapped an 0 for 19 for Edwin.
Yeah.
So he's making up for lost ground.
They asked him about that after the game. You know, how does it feel to end that 0 for 19? And Edwin was like, what are you talking about? Isn't that great?
Didn't even know it.
Doesn't even know it. Just go up there and concentrate and hit. He's doing one thing a little bit different. You see, he starts from an open stance. And when he wasn't hitting well, he would like pick his foot up and put it down. So he was open to begin with. Now he's picking it up and closing the front side, and the foot is stepping right towards the pitcher. And that's keeping him on line with the baseball.
Even established great hitters like Encarnacion, Bautista, and Donaldson, they will go through times when they don't feel what's wrong. They really don't have a grasp of it.
And it could be something as simple as that, as your foot placement, where you're picking it up and where you're putting it down. It could just throw you off kilter. Now he's picking it up and he's stepping right back towards the pitcher where the ball came from.
Another walk for Encarnacion. He keeps that string alive in plate appearances by reaching base.
Getting closer to the record.
Michael Saunders is 1 for 2. Saunders batting in the cleanup spot.
Have to look that up, Buck, but I think, didn't Rance make it to base 10 straight times? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think that's what the record is.
Saunders has another hit. Jones short hops the ball into center, and Michael Saunders is 2 for 3. Neither one of them really scalded, but he'll take it.
You better believe he's going to take it. Base hit is a base hit. Slider, and he pulls his hands in and just puts it out in front of the Gold Glover out in center field. Adam Jones, watch him short hop this ball. Smothers it.
Saunders now has 64 hits for the season. He leads the Blue Jays in that department. Russell Martin bends back from a pitch up and in. Michael Saunders now batting .308. Vance Worley came into the ball game with 1 out in the first inning.
.30 pitches for Ubaldo Jimenez to get 1 out today. Blue Jays brought their hitting shoes. Didn't hit on the field today. They thought they'd save all their hits for game time.
Smoke and Bautista both out of the lineup today, kicking back and enjoying this ball game with a comfortable Blue Jays lead. Martin reaches for it and hits a high fly ball to center. Blue Jays will leave a pair. We'll go to the 5th. Blue Jays have a 7-2 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. just 23 years old, and he's one of the rising young stars in baseball. And you look at the ERA leaders among 23-year-old starters, and pretty impressive list.
I don't want to face any one of these guys. Noah Syndergaard throws 100 miles an hour. Fernandez is, wow, what a breaking ball he has. And Aaron Sanchez has a little bit of both. Sanchez's fastball is pretty good, just like Syndergaard's, and he's got the breaking ball just like Fernandez. I think it's just a matter of time when he gets this game under control and understands himself. He's going to be one of the best pitchers, I think, in the American League.
Let me take you back to 2012 in the Midwest League, the Lansing Lugnuts. Aaron Sanchez and Noah Syndergaard were starters for the Lansing team. They had Justin Nicolino, Aaron Sanchez, Noah Syndergaard, and Anthony DeSclafani. They had quite a staff there in A-ball. Jones hits a breaking ball high and deep to center, and this ball is into the WestJet flight deck. The curveball, as Jones jumps on it, that's his 10th home run, second home run that Sanchez has allowed this afternoon, and these two teams have now hit 15 home runs in the 4-game series.
We talked about it in the opening. You got some bashers up and down this lineup. We highlighted Chris Davis and Edwin Encarnacion, but there's plenty more to go around. Alvarez homered last inning, and now Adam Jones with number 10. It's a curveball. He times it up perfectly. Keeps his weight back, keeps the bat back. And that ball is really traveling to center field now. Alvarez hit one into the flight deck, and now Adam Jones follows that one up.
For Jones, that's his 15th career home run here at Rogers Center. He's only one behind Chris Davis, who has 16. For Jones, his 10th of the season. Young Soo Kim 0 for 1 with a walk.
You know, it shows you how good Aaron has been. Before today, he hadn't given up a home run since May 15th. That was that game down in Texas.
It's only the second home run that Sanchez has given up to a right-handed hitter. Adrian Beltre hit that home run in Texas, and that was the first time Sanchez had surrendered a home run to a right-handed hitter.
1, 2, 3, 4 starts. This is his 5th start in between home runs. This time he's just going to blow the ball right by Kim.
Today's start, in my mind, brings into focus how challenging it is to be a starter in the big leagues. Last time out against the Detroit Tigers, a very good hitting ball club, Aaron Sanchez allowed 3 hits and struck out 12. Well, today, just a little bit off, giving up 2 home runs.
It's a good challenge for him. It's a learning experience. I think it's a learning experience for all the young pitchers in this game. Changeup, he just hasn't had that changeup all afternoon long. But you talk to veteran pitchers and you say, hey, you have 32, 33 starts a year. How many times do you go out there with your A stuff?
That's a fair ball. Paul Mart just gets out of the way of it as Machado is sliding into second ahead of the throw. And John Gibbons is going to come out of the Blue Jays dugout and contest this call with the first base umpire. Alan Porter looked like he was trying to suggest to Gibbons that that was a fair ball.
Well, we've got that shot that goes right down the first base line, and that'll tell you for sure. Fastball away. Edwin Encarnacion right away said that was a foul ball. This is the one. Machado is
Manning got right in the way.
In the way.
So Gibbons returns to the Blue Jays dugout, obviously satisfied that Nart convinced him it was a fair ball. Manny Machado's 25th double of the season.
But to finish up that thought, even the best pitchers say they only have their good stuff maybe 3 times all year, 3 or 4. And that's the challenge of being a starting pitcher.
Where everything is working, where you've got command of your fastball, you throw it to both sides of the plate, you get the curveball over anytime you want it, and the changeup you can throw for strikes. It's a rarity that all of those things come together.
You might go to the mound with 2 of them. You might go to the mound sometimes with 1 of them. But that's where I think experience comes in, knowing, okay, I need to make an adjustment. Like Aaron has to make an adjustment on his changeup today, and he hasn't made that adjustment or doesn't know what that adjustment is. That's where experience comes in.
Chris Davis with a 2-0 count. There's a high fly ball to left center. This ball is carrying, and this ball is gone. 5 straight games for Chris Davis with a home run, including all 4 games in this series, and his 17th career home run here at Rogers Center.
And his career high is home runs in 6 straight games. That wasn't a bad pitch. It was down and away. They got him the first 2 times by staying up and into him, but this one's down and away. That allows him to go down and get it.
But he is a low ball hitter. When you look at home runs by pitch type, look where all those balls are, down, out over the plate. He can cover those pitches.
Yeah.
And he comes from a ballpark that's very hitter friendly for lefties to the opposite field, Camden Yards. So Sanchez might have been a ball off the right down, and Davis can cover it.
He pitched him tough his first 2 times up by throwing fastballs in, breaking balls down underneath the bat. That time a pitch out over the plate. It wasn't a bad pitch, but it was a bad pitch to that guy right there because he can handle it.
Orioles with 3 home runs this afternoon. The Blue Jays have a home run off the bat of Kevin Pillar. 16 home runs hit in the series now. Mark Trumbo 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts. And oh, by the way, Trumbo's leading the majors with 20 home runs.
They've pitched him tough in this series. He hasn't had a home run in this series. They've been tough on him.
Trumbo has 49 RBIs to go along with those 20 home runs. Boy, what a pickup he's been. That's off the end of the bat. Goins behind second. 2 down. Well, the Orioles came in, as we mentioned, with a 5-game winning streak, and a lot of that has to do with the fact they've pounded out some home runs in June.
And they're doing it again to get back into this game. 28 home runs now in the month of June. Buck Showalter's team is never out of it.
Matt Wieters, the catcher, is 0 for 2 so far in this game.
Blue Jays are going to have to keep scoring. No lead is ever safe with these guys, right?
That's pretty much true in the entire division. This ball is drilled to left end. This ball is going to go. Matt Wieters, another opposite field home run. 3rd home run of the inning for Wieters, his 6th. And just like that, it's a 1-run game.
Adam Jones got it all started with a home run. Then Davis, and now Wieters. Fastball down and away. He's got plenty of power the other way. His 6th home run of the season to left field. And just like that, 7-1 is now 7-6.
Pedro Alvarez has homered. He homered to dead center his last time up. Alvarez is 2 for 2. That's Pat Venditti loosening up. The Blue Jays scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 1st, and the Orioles just never packed their bags. They kept plugging away. They got 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, and 4 here in the 5th.
And another home run hitter at the plate. This guy's hitting 7th in their lineup.
Former home run champ with the Pirates. Two and 2. Matt Wieters, his 6th home run, an opposite field shot, has made it a 1-run ball game. Alvarez checked his swing. Sanchez has now thrown 99 pitches with 2 outs here in the 5th. Just off the plate, according to Pitch Tracker, the curveball missed. To give you the idea of how dominant Sanchez was in his last start at Detroit, he had 12 strikeouts, pitched into the 9th, and threw 98 pitches. Quite a contrast in starts.
Yes, it was. And he only had 1 walk in that game, just 3 hits. Dominant.
Jonathan Scope has had a perfect start to his day. This little dribbler, this is going to be trouble. Barney has no chances. Scope picks up his 3rd hit. Alvarez and Scope have been on base 6 times combined.
He's going up there swinging. This ball actually hits behind him, but it doesn't touch him. That's the key right there. And Barney knows this ball, that's not going to go foul. So they've hit some long ones this inning, and they've hit some short ones this inning. They've got 10 hits now.
Yeah, they've got 10 hits all of a sudden. The hits are even at 10 apiece. The Orioles have out-homered the Blue Jays 4-1. Ryan Flaherty has an RBI base hit. And 2. Sanchez had a no decision in that great start against the Tigers. Flaherty had an extended at bat in the 2nd when he singled to center to drive in a run.
And Aaron handled him with a curveball, struck him out. That was just last inning. The Orioles have batted around.
Blue Jays had a bat around 1st inning. The Orioles have sent 9 men to the plate here in the 5th. Flaherty takes call, 3rd strike. Sanchez strands a pair of Orioles, but Baltimore scores 4 in the top half of the 5th. The Blue Jays have a 7-6 lead. you by the all-new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Kevin Pillar homered 5 days ago against Detroit. Well, he's got another one today. Hanging breaking ball, and Pillar hammers it in for the third deck in left field, his 4th home run of the season. And as he circles the bases for the Blue Jays, I'll tell you, that's our drive of the game.
Kevin Pillar's 2 for 2. He has an RBI double and a solo home run. Pops this one up behind second. Machado is there. 1 down. Vance Worley's done a nice job. This is exactly what the long man is supposed to do. Just slow down the opponents after you have an early deficit. Give your offense a chance to come back in the ball game, and that's what he's done.
You know, I thought we would see him in a 4-game series earlier until what happened today. Then the whole picture became very clear. Buck Showalter knows his team better than anybody, and he thought something like that might happen. He was holding Worley back, and he's gotten him into the 5th inning now, giving his team a chance to catch up.
Lefty Brian Dunsing pitched in yesterday's game. He is starting to loosen up. Waldo Jimenez, the starter, was out in the 1st inning, and Devin Travis caught looking at that changeup. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you very much, Jamie. You see Vance Worley walking off the mound, the lefty. Brian Dunsing coming in to face Ryan Goins. Left-hander Brian Dunsing making his 4th appearance. As we mentioned, he pitched in yesterday's game and gave up back-to-back home runs.
Got touched up by Encarnacion and Michael Saunders. Just 3 games. He was just called up on June the 2nd from the minor leagues. Blue Jays know about Dunsing. They faced him when he was a member of the Minnesota Twins. Doesn't throw very hard. Sinker slider, a little bit of a curveball. Former starter.
Ryan Goins has struck out twice so far. There's that curveball. Misses. (7-6). The Blue Jays lead it. Jesse Chavez, he appears to be ready. down in the Blue Jays bullpen. And Sanchez has thrown over 100 pitches through 5 innings. Sanchez gave up 4 home runs in his first 12 starts. The Orioles have hit 4 home runs off him this afternoon. Goins hits it to left. Kim's not going to get it. It's over his head, off the wall. Ryan Goins comes up with a 2-out double off the left-hander Brian Dunsing.
Now 2 pitches before that swing by Ryan Goins, Wayne Kirby, the outfield coach for the Baltimore Orioles, moved Kim about 10 feet closer to the line, thinking that they were not going to, Goins was not going to get around on that fastball. And he hits it right where he was standing. Ball slicing back to him, and he can't catch up to it. It's another double for the Blue Jays.
6 doubles now. That ties their season high. And they're going to walk the number 9 hitter, Darwin Barney, with Carrera on deck, a left-handed hitter.
You bring in your left-hander. You got Goins. Your job is to get him out. He doesn't. Now he walks him. Now he's got another chance for a lefty. Left-handed pitching yesterday for the Orioles didn't fare very well. 7 earned runs charged to the lefties out of that bullpen in just 3 innings for Baltimore.
TJ McFarland and Brian Dunsing were 2 lefties. So this is Ezequiel Carrera. He doubled in his first at bat. That got the Blue Jays off and running in the first. Carrera's done a terrific job against left-handed pitching. He's 11 for 24. That's a .458 batting average.
Not trying to pull the ball against the lefties. Trying to stay on the ball just a little bit longer. This is probably Dunsing's last batter right here.
Michael Givens, the right-hander, he's standing by ready. Bouncing ball. Scope gets a big hop. That'll end the inning. Blue Jays strand a pair and get a double and a walk. But Dunsing gets them out. Jesse Chavez coming in to start the 6th with a 1-run lead.
Fans help support Jays Care by purchasing an $85 fan pack. The price includes shipping. The packs include reusable Blue Jays jersey tote bag, stainless steel, kids water bottle, Blue Jays blow-up baseball bat, Blue Jays hat, and Blue Jays shoelaces. Get your pack today. Just visit bluejays.com/broadcast auction. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. As we head to the 6th inning, the Orioles clawed their way back into it. Actually, not clawed their way. They've slugged their way back into it. They have hit 4 home runs, including 3 last inning. Jesse Chavez takes over for Aaron Sanchez, and Jesse's been on a real hot streak. His 23rd appearance. He hasn't allowed an earned run in his last 6.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He hasn't allowed an earned run. Opponents hitting just 172 with no extra base hits during that time, dropping that earned run average to 270. The thing that has made him valuable, he's been able to throw more than 1 inning over those last few starts. He's been able to stretch out and get that bridge just a little bit longer towards the back end of that bullpen. He's been throwing quality strikes with his fastball.
That one misses outside Adam Jones. Jones homered his last time up. His 10th home run of the season. That's a good fastball. Just 92, but it had a good finish to it. Chavez worked 2 good innings on Friday in that Blue Jays win. He pitched the 7th and 8th, allowed just a walk, and got 6 ground ball outs. The bat went over the Blue Jays dugout. The ball went over the Orioles dugout, and Adam Jones has a new piece of lumber.
Boy, that was scary. Whenever that bat goes helicoptering into the stands, looked like one of those inside cutters from Chavez, and it ties up Jones, and the bat just slips right out of his hands, as does his thumb guard. Got one of those thumb guards on his right hand, and watch that thing come off of it also.
Yeah, the bat helicopters into the stands. The ball went over the Orioles dugout, and looks like they're trying to retrieve that bat for Jones. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The leadoff man here in the 6th. Another inside pitch. He fights on.
Yeah, they made a conscious effort that they're going to try and pound Adam Jones inside with their fastball. The home run that he hit last inning, leading off the 5th inning, was a hanging breaking ball, hanging curveball from Aaron Sanchez.
Pitch number 7 just missed down and away. Young Soo Kim is 0 for 2. He'll be next. Adam Jones has 4 hits and 8 at bats against Jesse Chavez, so these two know each other, and they're having a battle here. Chavez in relief of Aaron Sanchez, who's in line for the win, but the bullpen's going to have to really step it up. Pretty good changeup, but Jones got a piece of it. Aaron Sanchez goes 5 innings or 106 pitches. 10 hits allowed, ties his career high. Also did that April 22nd this season against Oakland. He allowed 4 home runs. That's a new career high. As Jones strikes out on the high heater. Chavez, everything was down until that last pitch.
Changed the eye level of that hitter, and high fastball looks so tempting. For a hitter, that's a 4-seamer that's up, and Adam just can't catch up to it. It's a good start.
Bounced in the dirt. It's A ball and a strike to Kim. Kim has just one hit in this series, but it was a big hit.
You were saying
leadoff double.
You were saying he's having trouble with fastballs, that they're a little bit harder than normal. How about where Michael Saunders, the left fielder, is playing? That is Slice City over there. That he's not going to get the head out and pull the ball to right field.
He didn't get the head out on that one at 93. And he told us earlier in the afternoon that in Korea he saw a lot more breaking balls, and when the fastball was thrown, it wasn't quite as hard as he's seen in the big leagues.
Michael Saunders might have to take a couple of more steps towards that line because he's not getting around on it on that fastball. Pretty close already. Look at that.
Got a piece of that one. Off speed pitch. 1-2.
And it's not like Kim's a small guy who's a spray hitter, punch and Judy type of hitter. He's a pretty big guy too.
Called for the swing. And he asked Alan Porter whether he went for it or it was a called strike, and looked like a swinging strike.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SU HD TV.
Manny Machado hit his third double of the series in his last at bat in the fifth. He's 1 for 3 this afternoon. Kim giving Alvarez a scouting report on Chavez.
They'll probably pitch him the same way. So he wants to know what he features. That last pitch looked like a breaking ball that caught the bottom part of the strike zone. That's what Jesse can do. Remember, he was a starter last year. He was a starter for a lot of his career. So he's got all 4 pitches, and he's going to use all of them. He can cut the ball. He's got a curveball, changeup, fastball.
Jesse Chavez comes in and strikes out the side in his first inning of work. Jones, Kim, and Manny Machado. He just blows it right past Machado. One unearned run on 3 hits over 4 innings. His ERA at this moment 196. There's a rumor out that the Cubs are interested in the Yankees relievers.
One of those hard-throwing relievers. Here's another one. Michael Givens into the ball game to face these right-handed power hitters that the Blue Jays will throw up there. Givens, outstanding numbers. Fastball and a slider. Low 3/4 arm slot. And he'll get a lot of strikeouts with that good arm.
The challenge for the right-handed hitters is to identify that slider and make your mind up whether or not it's going to be a strike, and that's tough to do. It's a hard breaking ball that's flat away from the hitters.
And for all the hard throwers that the Orioles have in their bullpen, this is the best one in terms of strikeouts. He leads the Oriole relievers in strikeouts this year with 42 of them.
Givens struck out Donaldson when he entered the ball game in the 7th inning with 1 out on Friday, and then he got Encarnacion to line out, and he would finish with an inning and 2/3. So Donaldson this time takes ball 4. So once again, here's the man, Edwin Encarnacion, with a man on first.
I have to correct myself. We looked it up, and he's been on base every game, every at bat this game.
9 straight plate appearances.
9 straight. The team record is 12. 12 straight times, and that's Lyle Overbay has that record.
That was in 2008. Tony Fernandez had an 11-game streak, or 11 plate appearances that he reached in '99, and Jose Bautista reached an 11 straight plate appearances in 2011. Pops this one back. We mentioned Edwin faced Givens on Friday and lined out, and that was his last at bat before this current 9 plate appearance streak was put together. He homered in his next at bat, a game winner in the 10th. So Givens was the last man to retire. Edwin Encarnacion.
And if he's going to get on base, it's going to be tough. He's very tough on righties.
Mentioned that Encarnacion's hot streak has been the result of the fact that he's made the pitcher get the ball down and out over the plate. 1-2, nobody out. Ground ball. Flaherty at third, goes to second in time, back to first. Donaldson with a good, hard, aggressive slide, it straight into the bag. And John Gibbons wants to look at that play at second as Donaldson's coming off the field. Gibbons out on the warning track, had the attention of home plate umpire Alan Porter.
You know,
Donaldson did a good job of getting to second.
Yeah, it happened so quickly. What a play by Flaherty. Comes up firing to second base, but Donaldson is right there. And that's what they want to see. They want to make sure that Donaldson didn't touch the base before he caught the ball. And on that replay, it looked like Scope had the ball in his glove before Josh got there.
The Blue Jays will not ask for the replay review. So that's the first out of the inning. Here's Michael Saunders, who's 2 for 3 so far.
Well, it took a great play by Flaherty to stop that streak by Edwin. That one I thought was heading into left field for a base hit.
Flaherty made a nice play. Blue Jays have a 7-6 lead. And now it's a battle of the bullpens. Jesse Chavez, boy, he did a good job. First inning of work, he struck out the side. Double barrel action as Pat Venditti, the lefty right now. Of course, he's ambidextrous. He can throw with either hand. And Gavin Floyd. 3-0 pitch. Saunders jumps on that 3-0 pitch and hooks it foul. John Gibbons has really turned his hitters loose lately, giving several hitters a chance to hit 3-0. And I think that's got him in a very aggressive mindset.
I think everybody should hit 3-0. You pretty much know what's going to be coming, a fastball. And how much better of a hitter are you when you know what's coming? You also have to have confidence in your hitters that if it is off the plate and it's a ball, they're not going to swing at it. I'd give Michael Saunders, I'd put him in that category. He is good at bats, knows the strike zone.
3-2 pitch. Ball 4 outside.
It's time to convert your big outdoor tasks into short, effortless work. Make the great outdoors even greater with Honda Power Equipment.
Packed house here for the final game of this 4-game series, and each crowd has gotten bigger and bigger as the series has progressed. Russell Martin takes one inside for a ball. Martin had a single and scored a run in the first inning. He has since flied out twice. Right-handed hitters have hit 156 against Givens. Lefties, it's a different story. They've hit 429 against him.
Each of them have a home run, one righty, one lefty.
Martin drills it to center. This is high and deep and down. A 3-run homer for Russell Martin.
Make that 2 righties have now gone deep against Michael Givens. He threw him a couple of breaking balls. One a strike, one a ball. So a 1-1 count. It looked like he tried to slip a fastball by him. And Russell, he has seen that batting average slowly creep up. He got a multi-hit game today.
He's 2 for 4, home run number 5 for the Blue Jays backstop. He now has 21 ribbies for the season. Home run derby continues here at Rogers Center this afternoon.
And that home run derby is hit it to center field. That ball right down Broadway. And Russell crushes it to center.
Kevin Pillar has a homer today. Another look at this pretty Martin swing.
What a finish.
Martin's up to 209 with the batting average, and he's headed in the right direction for sure. Things starting to turn around for Russell, and Brooke Jacoby said, yep, you're in a good spot right now, Russell. There's that nasty breaking ball, and Pillar strikes out. 2 down. Every starter in this Blue Jays lineup has reached base. Everyone has a hit but Darwin Barney, and he was walked intentionally in the 5th. Devin Travis had a 2-run double his first time up.
Do you get the feeling it's not over? Even though it's 10-6 and we're only in the 6th inning, TJ McFarland is now up throwing. I get the feeling like it's far from over the way these teams are swinging the bat.
The ball's absolutely flying here, and we saw that during batting practice. It's a breezy day, and when that wind hits this open portion of the roof, and you can see Jacoby and Martin talking about his at-bats and how the bat angle affects the flight of the ball, obviously. You know, John Gibbons did a good job of giving Russell a day off yesterday. He didn't start him. Russell came into the game late as a pinch hitter, but he had a little jump in his step today.
Yes. Very fresh today, running around, taking ground balls, out there hitting.
Even a seasoned veteran like Russell Martin needs help identifying some of the flaws mechanically in his stance and approach from time to time. Good pitch from Gibbons. He strikes out Devin Travis. But the Blue Jays get another home run. This off the bat of Russell Martin, a 3-run homer, his second hit of the afternoon. Blue Jays with a 10-6 lead. Pat Venditti is into the ball game, and he's loosening up as a left-hander because the first batter he will face is Chris Davis, the left-handed slugging first baseman. And last time up, Chris Davis continued his home run barrage here at Rogers Center.
4th game of this series. Chris Davis, 4th home run. He goes down and gets this pitch from Aaron Sanchez, golfs it over the wall in left field. Davis now has 16 home runs on the season. A 2-run home run cut the lead, and I tell you, there's no lead safe when these guys are hitting.
Chris Davis, 5 straight games with a home run. His career high is 6. He did that in 2012, late in the season. He had a home run Wednesday against Kansas City at Oriole Park. This one's popped up. Carrera moves to his left, gets there, and Davis is retired at first out of the top of the 7th. Chris Davis, we mentioned, he has homered in 6 straight games. That's his longest streak. And it was interesting because over the span of the end of the 2012 season and the start of the 2013 season, he homered in 10 of 11 games.
Stay hot. They come in bunches, don't they?
Wow.
When home run hitters get into one of those streaks.
So Pat Venditti turns around and throws right-handed to Mark Trumbull. Slider for a strike, 1-1.
This is really interesting when you watch a guy at the major league level able to throw with his left hand and then turn around and throw with his right hand. To be able to do that, 2 for 1. I asked him, I said, when did you start to do that? He goes, when I was 3 years old. He said, my father insisted I learn to throw. I'm a natural right-handed thrower. He said, start throwing with your left hand. He said it wasn't until he got into high school and then into college where he started feeling a lot more comfortable being able to do it in a ball game. So he's been doing it basically his whole life.
Trumbo hits it in the air, not deep. Saunders pulls out of the way for Pilar, and Kevin Pilar called him off right at the last minute. That ball was being blown towards center. 2 fly ball outs for Venditti.
This is interesting. You see Pat Venditti right there. He was telling the home plate umpire, I'm going to throw left-handed because a switch hitter is now coming up in Matt Wieters. So he said, I'm going to throw with my left hand. He has to make the first comment.
Yeah, the pitcher has to establish which hand he's going to pitch with. And then Matt Wieters, who had his left-handed hitting batter's helmet on, went back to the dugout, changed helmets, and he'll come up and bat right-handed against Venditti.
It's the Venditti rule, isn't it?
Yep.
That's it right there.
He started with the Yankees, made his professional debut at Staten Island in the New York Penn League. 2 outs, Matt Wieters. Venditti's throwing strikes. The first time Venditti faced a switch hitter, it was a laughable situation because they would both switch back and forth before they ever threw a pitch. The switch hitter would come up, Venditti would throw right-handed. He'd go and switch around to a left-handed bat, and then he'd change, put the glove on the other hand, and the batter would change helmets. And the umpire said, "This is silly. We got to develop a rule."
Thus the Venditti rule, and the rule says that the pitcher must establish which arm he's going to throw with.
Nice inning for Pat Venditti, his first since being recalled from AAA. Retires the side in order: Davis, Trumbo, and Wieters.
Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to BlueJays.com to choose your All-Star Game-worthy stars and send them to the MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard on July 12th in San Diego. Vote today, vote tomorrow. Vote at BlueJays.com/vote.
Thank you very much. And the All-Star Game will be here before you know it. It's going to be played in San Diego this season, so make sure you log on and cast your votes as you look at T.J. McFarland pitching for the second time in this series.
Orioles have been shuffling that bullpen, it seems like, all season long. This is another pitcher that was just brought up at the beginning of this month, so he's only been in 11 games. T.J. pitched in yesterday's game a couple of innings and got charged with 5 earned runs. Sinker slider, throws that ball down in the strike zone. So set your sights low.
McFarland gave up the 3-run home run to Encarnacion in the 6th inning in yesterday's game. Ryan Goins, they called in a left-hander to pitch to Goins with 2 outs in the 5th, and he messed up that strategy, so he doubled over the head of Kim in left. This little chopper towards second. Goins got a chance. Oh, what a nice play on both ends. TJ McFarland never gave up on the ball, and it bounced up. He grabbed it with his bare hand, and then Chris Davis grabbed the throw with the bare hand as well.
How about this play by McFarland? If he's right-handed, he can't make that play. He doesn't have enough time to catch it. And then on the other end, Chris Davis, this ball just couldn't get by McFarland. He just shovels it over to first base, and Chris Davis finishes it off by grabbing it with his bare hand.
That was pretty awesome. You don't see that very often, that a pitcher would grab the ball barehanded. But then the first baseman, Chris Davis, wasn't sure where the ball was going to go, so he had his glove set on the left side, and when that ball went to his right side, he just grabbed it with his bare hand.
Total reaction play. I played first base, and that's a tough play for a first baseman because you're so close and you just have no idea where the ball's going to go. You set yourself up for a throw. You're supposed to step to the throw, but he didn't have time to. He just had to react. See his right foot on the base. He's set. Okay, I have no time to stretch back over and make that play with my glove. I'll just grab it with my big bare hand.
Darwin Barney was walked intentionally in the 5th inning. Fly ball. Trumbo in right. 2 down.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY expert sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
There's a base hit for Carrera, who slapped it through the left side of the infield past Ryan Flaherty, who was in guarding against the bunt. The threat of a bunt helped Carrera get that base hit right there.
And that's been his approach against left-handed pitching. Just stay on that ball just a little bit longer, slap that ball to left field, and he gets another hit off of a left-handed pitcher.
So Carrera, with the base hit, will knock TJ McFarland out of the game. Blue Jays have a 4-run lead, and Buck Showalter will go to Brad Brock, who was the losing pitcher on Friday night that gave up the home run to Encarnacion. Brock will face Donaldson when we come back to Rogers Center. Campbell, and here is Brad Brock, who took the loss on Friday night. He gave up that walk-off home run to Edwin Encarnacion.
Stretches his lead appearances. He leads the club in appearances now with 28. And he has become a nasty, nasty reliever, especially tough on right-handed batters because of the angle that he creates when he is on that mound. He steps towards third base, throws across his body, hides it, and then fires that ball crossfire at those righties, making it extremely tough on him to pick the ball up.
Brock is the 5th Orioles reliever to work, and here's that delivery.
Look at this. He hides it, he keeps it closed, and then throws across his body. A crossfire slider down and away to right. It's tough to pick it up.
Brock is 6'6". The ball is down and away. Josh Donaldson. Josh is 1 for 3. In case you're just joining us, the Blue Jays had a 5-run first inning when they jumped all over the starter Ubaldo Jimenez, who was knocked out after just 1/3 of an inning. Jimenez struck out Michael Saunders. That's the only out he recorded. Blue Jays had 4 doubles in the first inning. They've had 6 doubles in the ball game. 3-1. Edwin Encarnacion is 2 for 3 this afternoon and had his 9 plate appearance streak snapped. He reached base in 9 straight plate appearances, and he'll come to the plate with 2 aboard. We mentioned Friday night in a 3-3 game, Encarnacion went opposite field against Brad Brock to walk off the Orioles. It was Brock's first loss. He entered that game perfect at 5-0.
It was also just the 2nd home run that he had given up all year. You can see why he doesn't give up many. Ball moves all over the place.
Michael Givens got Encarnacion to hit into a fielder's choice his last time up. That snapped that streak of reaching base at 9 straight plate appearances.
Boy, Edwin's locked in right now. He really is. Whenever he starts fouling that ball back and he starts smelling his bat, you know he's ready to stay hot.
Two and 2 now. Encarnacion is 3 for 8 lifetime against Brad Brock, and that home run he hit Friday night was the first home run he's hit off the Orioles righty. 10-6, the Blue Jays lead it. Full count, 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. Carrera from second, Donaldson from first. Encarnacion has an RBI this afternoon, 54 for the season. Ground ball. Machada's throw to first just in time. He got all tangled up as he went to his knees, got up and threw out Encarnacion. The Blue Jays strand a pair in the 7th. Will go to the 8th. Blue Jays have a 4-run lead. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Quite a day for the Blue Jays offensively. They have scored 10 runs on 13 hits. Russell Martin and Kevin Pillar have homered in this game. Bullpen so far so good. Chavez retired the 3 men he faced. Venditti did the same in the 7th. And Venditti stays on.
Yeah, had a 1-2-3 inning by striking out Wieters to finish it off, so might as well keep him out there. Not a lot of these Orioles have seen Pat Venditti.
Pedro Alvarez has hit 2 home runs in this 4-game series. He homered off Sanchez in the corner. Aaron Sanchez in line for the win. And it might just be fitting after he pitched such a great game against the Tigers and ended up with a no decision.
A little bit off track today. Wasn't as sharp as he was when he's got a chance to win it.
Slider misses outside. It's a 2-2 count to Alvarez.
Doesn't have to be perfect. That slider, it's a big swing from Alvarez. Just put it in a good spot. There you go.
Got that slider away. Second strikeout for Venditti.
A little hesitation to gather himself over the mound before he delivers that ball. The pitch before that, he tried to sweep it, try to be too perfect with it. That time he just took his time and made a good pitch. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Venditti. He's retired all 4 batters he's faced.
When you look at the 4 games of this series, the Blue Jays bullpen has pitched just as effectively as the Orioles bullpen. And the Orioles came in with the best bullpen ERA in the American League.
Friday night they were sensational. They gave up 1 base runner in 4 innings. That was a walk. And then Floyd and Grilli finished it off after Joe Biagini couldn't get an out in yesterday's game. So far so good this afternoon.
2 balls 2 strikes to Jonathan Schoop, the second baseman. Schoop's had a 3-hit game, 3 for 3. It's off the end of the bat down the left side, and it's going to drop in foul ground. Alvarez, Schoop, and Flaherty have combined for 6 of the 10 Oriole hits. The other 4 hits all came in the 5th inning. Jones hit a home run, Machado hit a double, then Davis hit a 2-run home run, then Wieters hit a home run.
That was the bat around inning right there. And then Chavez came in, struck out the side. 1-2-3. Venditti 1-2-3 in the 7th. I think it's the first guy here in the 8th.
Good sweeping breaking ball as Schoop strikes out.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
First pitch strike to the number 9 hitter, Ryan Flaherty. This is the first appearance for Pat Venditti since he was recalled from AAA Buffalo on the 7th of June. His last appearance came against the Yankees in New York on the 24th of May. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit and nothing more.
He also hasn't allowed an earned run over his last 3 outings with the Jays. Here comes another slider.
Zach Britton pitched on Thursday night and was able to pick up the save. His 19th of the season. Venditti swipes at it. Travis behind second, can't get much on the throw, and Flaherty will have his second hit of the afternoon. That ball took Travis way to his right. He couldn't get much on the throw, and Flaherty beats it out.
Venditti almost came up with that ball. Comebacker. Just couldn't get the glove over there quick enough. And then Flaherty's got plenty of speed to beat that one out. No chance for Devin Travis to throw him out at first base.
Venditti with 3 strikeouts this afternoon. That's a season high for Pat. Adam Jones, he's 1 for 3 with a home run. He's also walked. The Orioles have hit 4 home runs this afternoon. The Blue Jays have hit 2. So now the 2 teams have hit 18 home runs in the 4-game series. Jones high and deep to left. Adam Jones has hit his second home run of the afternoon. Got a breaking ball up. He had a curveball off Sanchez. Now he hits a slider off of Venditti.
Every time we start talking about home runs, there goes another one. Leaves the ballpark. He had Adam Jones down 2 strikes. And Jones with his 11th home run makes it a 10-8 game.
I'm gonna tell people.
The second multi-home game of the season for Jones, and this breaking ball just stays right out over the plate.
Yeah, just got underneath that one and stay right on that hitting plane. And that stops his streak of 3 straight games of not allowing an earned run.
For Jones, that's his 10th career multi-home run game. 2 home runs today. He's now hit 11 for the season. His second home run here at Rogers Center this afternoon, and Chris Davis has homered here as well. So these 2 Orioles have lit up the Blue Jays here at Rogers Center over their career. Jones has 16. Davis has 17 career home runs here at Rogers Center.
Got to retire this guy right here. Probably his last batter.
On the ground. Encarnacion will step on the bag. That doesn't. Adam Jones hits a 2-run home run. It's a 10-8 Blue Jays lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie and Greg in the Samsung broadcast studio.
6 of the Stanley Cup Final goes tonight in San Jose. Now the Sharks are down 3-2 in the series, but can they force a Game 7? Find out when all the action begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on CBC.
Beautiful afternoon here at Rogers Center, and if you like offense, this has been your kind of game. 18 runs on 25 hits. Both teams have combined to hit 7 home runs. Brad Brock to Michael Sanders. First pitch is foul back.
We like offense.
We like offense.
Pitchers don't like offense.
No.
It's been a tough series to be a pitcher with these two teams going at it.
We mentioned it in the open this afternoon that whenever these two teams get together, it's like home run derby. And they've lived up to that billing as they have hit 18 home runs in a 4-game series, including 7 this afternoon. Well, 7 gives it 19. Jones hit his second. Chris Davis has homered in 5 straight games. This ball's got a chance. Get up, and that's going to be off. The warning track bounces out of play.
How about Michael Saunders? He struck out in the first inning, the only out Ubaldo Jimenez could record, and now he has gone single, walk, and double. Changeup up out over the plate. You can see how that bat came around, and it got some top spin on it. Just he couldn't create backspin to get the ball in the air, but he'll settle for another extra base hit. Blue Jays have their doubles machine shoes on today.
Blue Jays have hit 7 doubles in this ball game. That's a season high. Carrera, Donaldson, Pilar, Travis, Encarnacion, Goins, and Saunders, all with doubles. Russell Martin, boy, he's had a good couple of days at the plate. Russell had a base hit in the first, and he hit a 3-run home run his last time up in the 6th inning.
Difference of the ball game. Those add-on runs.
Jason Grilli is loosening up for the Blue Jays. Roberto Osuna has worked a lot lately, and he probably needs a little break from that regular duty. Grilli struck out the side yesterday afternoon in his only inning of work. Also poked it down the right field line, but it sliced foul. That ball hit the dirt, and Martin's going to make Wieters throw it. Wieters was looking at the ball as if he was going to ask Alan Porter for a new ball, and Martin said, "We got to throw it first at least."
If it hit the ground, he wasn't real sure if that ball hit the ground at all from Brock. Hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened, haven't they?
Kevin Pillar steps to the plate. He's had another fine day at the plate. Pillar extended his hit streak with an RBI double in the first inning. That made it 6 straight games with a hit for Pillar, and then he hit a home run leading off the 3rd. Fly ball to center. Jones comes in and makes the catch. Sanders still at second base after the leadoff double. Devin Travis, the second baseman. Devin had a 2-run double in the first inning. He's gone 0 for 3 since then. Travis with 7 RBIs on the season now.
This is a good pitcher for Devin to really stay closed against and try to shoot that ball to right field. That's his strength. That's where his double came, right down the right field line. Got to really tell yourself you're not going to commit too early and open up.
Got underneath that breaking ball and pops it into the seats. And you're right, when you hit against a guy like Brad Brock and you're a right-handed hitter, you really got to fight to keep that front shoulder closed and not pull off those pitches.
He gives you a tough angle for a right-handed batter to try and stay on the ball. Your first tendency when he steps across his body is for you to open up, anticipating that ball inside, but you got to fight yourself to hit it to right.
Foul tip off the catcher's mitt. A reminder, the Philadelphia Phillies will be here tomorrow night. Jays will play Monday night and Tuesday afternoon, and then they'll go to Philadelphia to complete the 4-game series, a home-and-home series. R.A. Dickey will open it up tomorrow night. Marcus Stroman pitches on Tuesday afternoon. 2-2. Travis strikes out. Brad Brock strikes him out. We will go to the ninth. Blue Jays have a 10-8 lead. Jason Grilli into the game. He's got 93 career saves.
Yeah, an exciting inning for Grilli. This is the final out of the ball game. And Jason's 39 years old. He's been in the big leagues a long time. He got really excited over that last one. Hit the bear hug his battery mate in Russell Martin.
I asked him today, what was that all about? Did we miss a milestone or something? He said, I was excited. I struck out the side. Russell Martin's coming out from behind the plate. And he says, give it to me, man. Give it to me. So he put him in a bear hug, and the two former Pirates were able to celebrate that good inning for Grilly. Manny Machado has gone 1 for 4. A couple of strikeouts. He grounded into double play, and he also hit his 25th double. The double came in the 5th. Roberto Osuna getting an extra day's rest.
Speaks volumes, I think. Give him a couple of days. 29 games he's been in this year.
The Blue Jays are playing their 65th game, and Osuna's been in 29. And he's 21 years old, and he's had Tommy John surgery. So John Gibbons says, you know what, I got a veteran in Grilly. Drew Storen's throwing better. Jesse Chavez has been throwing great. So let's see if we can back off Osuna for a day or two. 1-1 count to Manny Machado. Popped the mask right off Russell Martin's face, and you know that looks a lot more violent than it actually is, and I'll tell you why in a minute. That mask on the plastic helmet, that strap doesn't really grab very much, and it doesn't take much to pop that mask off that batting helmet. Yeah, it doesn't feel great, but it's not quite as violent as it looks.
It's a wake-up call, isn't it?
1-2. Machado lays off.
Just the sound. Sounded like it might have jarred Russell, but he looks like he's okay.
I can tell you from this vantage point, it's not very violent. 2-2, nobody out. We are in the ninth. Blue Jays trying to win the series against the Orioles. Machado's out in front. Baltimore won the opener on Thursday night to stretch their winning streak to 5 straight games, and the Blue Jays won the next 2. And they have a 2-run lead here in the ninth.
Get that first guy. If you can retire that first batter, the tying run doesn't come to the plate.
Boston is trailing Minnesota 4-1, top of the 7th in Minneapolis. 2-2 pitch. Boston and the Orioles are tied atop the American League East coming into action today. They both have a 36-25 record. Blue Jays are second, 3.5 back. Machado reaches for it, pokes it into left, and that's going to drop in front of Saunders. Manny Machado out in front of that breaking ball, hits it right off the end of the bat. It's a leadoff single here in the ninth, and just like that, the tying run comes to the plate.
Pretty good pitch from Grilly. Slider down and away. Machado just has enough plate coverage and strong enough just to get it into the outfield. Here comes Michael Saunders. Has to play it on a bounce.
Drew Storen has gotten up quickly. Looks like Aaron Loop is going to join him. Chris Davis 1 for 4 with a home run. Davis has never faced Jason Grilly. Two and 0. Grilly's unpredictable.
Well, he's a veteran. He's not going to get wowed by the situation, and he knows who's hitting, understands it. That was a fastball count, and he threw him a breaking ball.
Grilly has 2 saves this season. They both came while he was in Atlanta with the Braves. 3-1. Grilly's career high in saves was 33. That was in 2013 with the Pirates. Tough stretch of hitters for the Blue Jays here in the 9th. They got to get through the meat of the order for Baltimore.
3-1 breaking ball once again. If he throws it 3-1, let's see what he does 3-2.
Martin and Grilly were teammates with the Pirates for 2 years. They think alike. Peel down to third. No swing. Russell Martin wanted to swing. John Tompane, the third base umpire, waved the save sign. Russell Martin felt like Davis went after it. So does John Gibbons.
So does everybody else in the ballpark. It's a 3-2 breaking ball low. Let's see if Davis goes around.
That's a swing.
That's a swing.
No question about it. Now Martin's going to go out. Just try to regroup right here. They threw a breaking ball on a 3-2 pitch. Third base umpire John Tompane said no swing, and now it's first and second, nobody out. Mark Trumbo. Blue Jays have turned 1 double play this afternoon. Manny Machado grounded into a 6-4 double play in the third. Orioles hit into 3 double plays in yesterday's game.
I think the outfield has to play a couple of steps a little bit deeper. You've got a big power hitter, the home run leader in the American League, and you've got the tying runs on base. So you can't let any ball get by you all the way to the wall, or Davis is going to score. Pilar is deep in center. Carrera is very deep in right field.
Trumbo won't chase. Boy, he has done a good job of changing his approach at the plate. He used to be a wild swinger, not the case any longer.
Eric Owens was telling me that he was there's the home run hitter, is a very cerebral type of hitter. He had him for 4 years in the Angels organization. He does his homework, studies pitchers, he'll adjust with them, and on top of that, he's got a lot of power, as that board just showed you. 20 home runs. American League leader.
2-1. Elevated that fastball.
He was sitting on a breaking ball there. He was looking breaking ball. He watched the at bat against Chris Davis and saw that Grilly was throwing him breaking balls in fastball counts, and he was a little bit late on it.
Came right back with it. Grilly with a big strikeout of Mark Trumbo.
I think he saw the same thing I saw, that Trumbo was looking for a breaking ball, and he threw a couple of fastballs right by him. And you can see Mark's a little bit late, and Grilly gets a big strikeout.
Matt Wieters, the catcher. He's 1 for 4 this afternoon. He had a home run in the 5th inning. That 4-run inning for the Orioles. Grilli said the atmosphere since he's come to the Blue Jays has been remarkable, and it's really given him a shot in the arm. Coming from Atlanta, where there's so many young kids and they're having such a disappointing season. He said, this is my favorite team. I grew up with the Blue Jays.
That's right.
I was a fan, and now I get to play in these situations.
A lot more people in the stands than down in Atlanta. A little bit more energy in the ballpark.
Jason was a kid in the 92-93 World Series years. Used to sit in the stands here. He grew up in Syracuse and had come up to watch the Blue Jays. His father pitched for the Blue Jays, and now he's doing the same. Two balls and no strikes. And laying off that breaking ball. Nobody's chased that breaking ball. Pedro Alvarez. Grilli, Alvarez, and Martin were all teammates with the Pirates.
If it comes down to it, they all know each other. Got to figure that Wieters might be taking one here.
I don't know, the way the ball's been flying.
Yeah.
I think Russell Martin's going to approach it as if he's swinging. 3-0 count. 2 aboard, 1 out. That'll load the bases. So Pedro Alvarez, the left-handed hitter, he homered in the 4th inning. Second home run of the series for Alvarez. We mentioned all 3 involved. Grilli, Martin, and Alvarez were all teammates with the Pirates. The bases are loaded. Fastball runs off the plate. Grilli has walked 2 this inning. He struck out Trumbull. Manny Machado had a soft single to left to start the inning. Alvarez with a couple of grand slams in his career.
You see the infield playing very deep. They got to keep this ball in the infield if there happens to be a ground ball.
Grilli's missed badly with those last 2 pitches, and Russell Martin's going to go out to the mound.
Well, you mentioned that they played together in Pittsburgh, so there's nobody in the ballpark who knows Jason Grilli as well as Russell Martin. That was part pitching coach, part strategy, that meeting.
And they both know Pedro Alvarez, where his power is. Hit a home run to deep center in the 4th. Fly ball to right. Carrera's got room up against the wall, makes the catch. Machado's tagging. He comes in to score. Alvarez just missed it. Drove Carrera to the wall in right. And now there are 2 down.
That ball has been flying out of here. It didn't sound like he got it solid. Maybe a little bit off the end of the bat, but he still hit it all the way to the wall. And that's why I was saying you got to put your guys deep. You got to have your outfielders deep. That was the go-ahead run that helped them out. Nice play by Carrera. Joey Rickard into the ball game to pinch run at first base. Carrera all the way to the wall, times his leap perfectly, and right at the top, hauls it in right field.
So Dane Johnson is out to talk strategy here in this situation. There are 2 outs. It's a 1-run game. The Blue Jays lead at 10-9. The matter is Jonathan Scope, who's had a 3-hit afternoon. 3 singles and a strikeout. He's 3 for 4.
Swinging early in the count too, remember? A couple of those hits are on first pitch fastballs.
Joey Rickard pinch running at first. Davis at third represents the tying run. $47,249 here at Rogers Center. Elevated that fastball. He's swinging. His first save as a Blue Jay.
Well, he wanted to pitch in some meaningful ball games and some electric crowds, and he got his wish today. Excited yesterday when he struck out the side. Excited when he ends this ball game on a huge strikeout against a hot hitter. And the Blue Jays take the series from the Orioles, a very important series against the Orioles, 3-1.
The Blue Jays lost the opener, came back and won the last 3 as Grilli picks up the save. Sanchez the win. He improves to 6-1. We'll see you tomorrow night. Here's Jamie and Greg. Thanks for watching.